Hello there, and we have now started the semi-finals of the Autumn Open. We're looking at the indomitable Isildur, double world champion, and he's up against an old foe. And I've got an old legend with me today, Devem. Hi, Devem.
Hello everyone, he's up against Nogano on the north side of the map. And Nogano, we know him as the king of second place, don't we? Yeah,
He's number two. He is number two. There's nobody better in the world at getting a silver medal. There's no one. He's the best bridesmaid any bride could ever hope for. And the good news for Nagano against Isildur this time is he's in a semi-final, so that makes him unbeatable, Devem. He always gets through to the final of every big tournament, and Isildur's truly up against it this time.
It's written in the old texts.
The sacred sacrament, indeed. The tomes. because Nagano is one of the best players ever, but unfortunately for him, he had a bad run of tournaments in the last couple of years where he was runner-up so many times. Let's keep an eye on the tactics of two of the greatest players ever to play now. So, of course, Pioneers lead the way for the MG42. They've got conscripts just trying to be a bit pesky on the fuel point here.
Yeah, I'd say very standard play. We have double engineer for Soviets, which has been kind of the meta for some time now, because it does gives you more capping power. And we see that Nogano went straight away for the fuel point and tried to build the sandbags to stall the capture of the points. It's always really annoying when the conscript squad gets behind those sandbags.
And let's just survey the beauty that is Amelie Autumn, because this has... Rachel's done a lot of great work in this tournament. She's not only organised it, she's made all the maps have brown leaves on them, which is a lot harder than it sounds. And it's looking pretty cool, isn't it, Devon?
Yeah, it's my first time seeing the map, and it's visually very beautiful.
Yeah, that's a nice word to say for. I agree. Okay, then. Combat engineers are able to cap on this cobbled Amelie western side. Grenadiers are going to come to push them away, and this is the nuisance. Isn't it, Devon? This combat engineer is now pulling two grenadiers away from any cut-offs, any fuel denial. And it's just being annoying, isn't it, having two combat engineers in the early game?
Yeah, he's gathering information, he's bringing in the two grenadiers from Isildur to the left part of the map. And if you see now, the conscript squads are moving in because he knows that the MG is alone on the other side of the map. So this is a really good play from Nogano. He actually might go for the cutoff as well, we'll see.
What do you think of... Oh yeah, I see that he's thinking of going for the cutoff. What do you think, by the way, of this barbed wire we're seeing on the eastern side? Have you ever seen that before? It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the first time I'm seeing someone build that barbed wire, and I think it's going to be annoying. Nogano really needs to bring an engineer to deal with that now.
I'm getting the impression Nagano's up for this today. I've seen him playing an auto match recently, looking pretty sharp. Both cutoffs now neutralised. MG comes to deal with one of the conscripts. We do have heal gone.
And I think that the cutoffs attempts that you see here from Nogano are really important. Because it's often, the time that you don't have the fuel connected, it's one that costs you the most, because it delays your 2-2-2 for like 30 seconds. So it's really important that he's doing this.
Just going for a 3 conscript build here from Nagano with a combat engineer flamethrower squad to follow up. He's a little bit out of the fighting at the moment. We've got 2 conscripts versus 2 grenadiers here, so it's 2 squads of very low health in the middle, and the grenadiers fold first, leaving the other grenadier to be now double teamed. No, he's got more joining the fighting, so constant all-in activity on the west. Meanwhile, in the centre, MG versus Flamer combat engineer, keeping him out this picture.
Isildur really likes this build order where he goes for a huge tier 1 with 4 grenadiers and 1 MG. So I expect to see, Isildur to push for the cutoff with the extra units that he has. It's always a matter of how the Soviet player manages to, fight the engagements being down a fighting squad.
To be honest, I see it as Isildur kind of flexing his excellent manpower efficiency, because a lot of players going 4 grenadiers would find themselves bleeding heavily. Isildur has great battlefield presence, and he's able to retreat squads ahead of time or soft retreat them before they lose individual soldiers of the squad. And do you see it as a flex, Devem? 4 Grenadiers, and he's able to keep such a healthy manpower economy.
I think that it isn't exactly like that because you are you can manage better the manpower if you have an extra squad because you're going to win the engagements and you're going to make your opponent bleed just by having the extra squad and dealing the damage. So for example, if you have 2 conscripts versus three grenadiers and he has that extra squad, you're probably going to win the engagement and do more bleed to him than you're going to receive. The only concern here is that he's delaying his tier 2, right?
Yeah,
so it all depends on that.
And the Tango Battalion Command's coming down now, and we have fuel being taken in the east. He's been able to clip his way through the barbed wire, and he's also put down a pesky mine as well, so yep, he's been able to cap that fuel and do a lot of work there, whilst the Grenadiers and MGs were, well, a lot of them were in base getting healing from the bunker, and he took great advantage of that.
Honestly, this is like a mark of a great player. He's outnumbered in the field, so we have 3 conscripts versus basically 4 grenadiers and 1 MG, so 3 to 5, and the map is 50-50, and that's great for Nogana right now.
It is, but now the Grenadiers are all coming back onto the field with a good bill of health, which means that he's going to have a 2-2-2 hitting, and I have to say Nagano's now got 60 fuel. He's 10 away from a T70. The 2-2-2's timing window is going to be limited, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a slim chance that the 2-2-2 does something really nice, because the T70 is right behind it. I'm honestly really surprised that Nogana's been able to have this fuel against the huge tier 1 from Isildur.
And people in chat may be thinking, but the 2-2-2 isn't just a shock unit in the early game. No, it isn't. It does become a great reconnaissance vehicle. But if you haven't gotten those kills or that damage in the early game, it's Vet 2 takes a lot longer. Nice medpacks used there by Isildur on the field. It's Vet 2 takes a lot longer to hit. So you're not going to have that sight boost until much later on. So without getting it, around the 5.5 minute mark, which a lot of players can do, you're going to be missing that Veterancy 2 for a lot longer. And it really does hurt you.
Yeah, I completely agree with AE here. If you can get your 2-2-2 vetted up quickly by having it on the field uncountered, then it's going to be great. But because the T70 is coming in so soon, this 2-2-2 impact on the game will be diminished by a lot.
And then we do see the ebb and flow of play with the Grenadiers going back to heal. They were healthy, so they're able to win engagements, but now the T-70's out, so it's going to go back into Nagano's favour. And, Wehrmacht versus Soviets with these 2 players works really well. It's those US versus Wehrmacht games that used to be quite stagnant back in the day. But this is a classic matchup, isn't it, with the classic factions?
Yeah, it is. I'm interested to see what Nogana will go for. Because he's going for an Aetegan now. Okay, sure, that's a good decision. I was maybe thinking, I was looking at this commander and I was thinking if he was going to go for Guards or a Dishka MG, but he hasn't.
No, we've had no commander choices yet in this Commander Terminator event. Now, Devem did actually look into the brackets and how the CT works in this one. What have you noted so far about the commanders that both players have used up to this point? Yeah,
so both players almost haven't used any commanders. So it shows that they are really confident, and the players that they have played up against up until now, they haven't really challenged them enough for them to pick commanders. So they aren't really limited in any way right now. They have the OP commanders still available, or the meta commanders.
They're trying to save it, but the excitement of that is you do see Isildur using, Storm Doctrine versus Happy Cat in the early run, so we have seen some strategic diversity. But it does seem that they saved all the big boys for maybe even this situation. But you know what would be, one thing that would be very interesting, and I'm going to say something dramatic here, Devon. What if 2 semi-finalists had a truce to not use the commanders until the grand final? I mean, that could be a thing. I mean, we'd have to get an investigation. We'd have to get what's his name, Sturmtide Gaddafi to attach electrodes to their testicles and ask them what they've been up to if that's the case.
Yeah, get Detective Sturmpanther in there as well.
Oh yeah, Sturmpanther. All the Sturms. Just get the entire Bureau of Sturm investigation.
And right now we see Nogana trying to solidify his position. he has the right units to kind of get out of the hole that Isildur has on the map. Just needs some time now. Needs the T70 to do some damage.
It does. It has gotten only 2 kills, but a lot of health damage along the way. He's looking for a softer target in the east. I have to check out the pack positioning. That's in the centre, so he's got a moment to push here, but he's not doing so. He's been slow and steady, and we're now going to devolve into a bit of a ceasefire. Let's check out the stats and check out the superior KD of Isildur. We're also going to check out the points held graph, which is very important. One of the most only accurate graphs in the game. Just showing what we're seeing there.
I think that what we are seeing is the classic Austria versus Soviet matchup kind of distribution in the graph, where now Austria is just slightly pulling ahead because they are starting to get the combined arms with the pack gun, with the MG, with the LMG grants. And eventually when the Soviets get their whole build order up, so the Ziz gun, maybe an extra conscript squad, maybe an MG in there, we are going to start seeing the game even out a bit more.
T70 could get attack grounded, he's not tracking it. He is! Oh, he was really close in the end! That was a great shot by Isildur. He used his sound profile, kind of hearing the engine noises and trying to figure out the path of the vehicle. Clever stuff there by Izzy.
Yeah, and we see TR3, what? TR3 coming up from Isildur for the P4. Are we surprised by that, AE?
Wow! A Panzer...
Yeah.
They've done a 4th version now. That's incredible. It's the 4th version of the Panzer. They're going to make one in at this game? Can you confirm that, Devem? Is he doing it, or is he just thinking of it?
He's doing it.
No!
No way.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. So, Devem's predicting, by the way, chat, just to explain that to you, that Devem, 3 times world champion Devem, is using his elite mega mind to predict that Isildur might build a Panzer IV in this actual game.
We have never seen this before.
Wow. Let's go.
No, but jokes aside, I think that Isildur isn't really the type of player to go for the super, like, double P4 thing. Because he's up against Soviets, I think he's probably maybe going to go just 1 P4 and then tier 4 for the Panzerwerfer.
Yep. And Panther's always a good choice as well. I mean, there is that variation. You can do that. You don't just... Oh, nice rifle nade. Can he get the Car 98k kills? First squad wipe of the stream. He misses, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, we've got aggression in the centre. Combat engineers with a difficult retreat path for themselves. T70 comes to sort that out. That's a Soviet mine there. He's just swept it and revealed it. 222 comes into the picture. Game's beginning to heat up a little bit now.
Yeah, I think that Nogano is starting to get really annoyed by that 222, and he tried to sneak up his AT gun through the center VP to try to get a shot in, but the 222 knows where the AT gun is, so he just backed off.
Okay, so the question we have to ask ourselves is, Nagano is, and Devem's already said this, I'm just going to say it in a different way, but it's pretty much the meta of Ver versus Soviets. I just thought I heard a vehicle explode, sorry. But the Wehrmacht mid-game tends to counter the Soviet mid-game, but the Soviet late-game tends to counter the Wehrmacht late-game. The two reasons mainly are just if you get the perfect tier 4 vehicles out, aka the Su-85, the Katusha, and you get them out at the right time, you can start to counter Wehrmacht, and of course you get the 7-man conscripts, which is so efficient. The trading and the map presence they give you. So, what I've got to ask you though, Devem, Nagano's lost a lot of VPs. Does he have enough to get to him, to get to that uber-Soviet late game?
I think he does, honestly. It's going to be hard at some point for Isildur to break through the unit composition that Nagano has. I'm just worried that he's taking too many engagements and bleeding a little bit too much. I would have preferred for him to be a little bit more safe and maybe get an extra unit in.
Combat engineers have to run the gauntlet here through 2 LMG grenadiers, one of which is Vet 3, and a 222 first squad wipe of the game. No? How did they survive? We do actually have a choice from Nagano, so no truce, or he's broken the truce. We have mechanized support tactics, guard rifles, which we've already seen on the field for a while now. And of course, in the late game, we're going to have the ISU-152 and the Sturmovik strafing run. And Mark vehicle, so that's a pretty good late game commander choice. So again, it's all about that Soviet late game.
Yeah, I really like Mark vehicle, especially with the Zizgun and the T-70 spotting. You can really zone out the P4.
Oh, and here it is. We've got 30 tons of quantified destruction. The Panzer IV Uber Legendary Elite vehicle is on the field. This is a DLC premium vehicle. So Isildur very much pay to win right now. Very rarely seen in the competitive sphere.
And he's going straight up for the T-70. So the T-70 knows that it's backing off. The Zizgun is trying to protect the T-70 now. P4 misses a shot. And here I would say that it's where we kind of see where the game is headed for. So Nico is investing in double AT guns, and that might give Isildur the benefit of having his infantry harass more the territory sectors of Nogano, because he's missing one extra infantry squad that could be there.
I agree.
So
the thing is, he's gonna have four Vet 3 LMG Grenadiers.
Exactly.
And that's gonna pick apart the Zizguns. He's gonna get around the sides of them and he's gonna shred them. They're gonna be backing off back to base half the bloody time. Only the guards can really go toe to toe with maybe one LMG Grenadier with the DP light machine guns, but not four of the buggers. So the sooner he can get 7-man cons and just pay in blood for territory, the better, because that's what he's going to have to do.
Exactly. The ball is on Isildur's court, basically, to do something right now, because he has the advantage. It's how he manages now to work with the P4 and the LMG grants that will matter. He has to delay the Tier 4 from Nogano, because like you mentioned before, if Soviets get to that Tier 4 and they have the double Ziz guns, then they have the advantage.
Certainly do. Of course, we need mechanized Compania to get the ISU. I'm not predicting that he goes for it, but Amelie does actually kind of work on this. Let's have a look at this IL-2 strafing run, see what we can get. Oh, nearly got the veterancy off the pack. That could have been helpful.
Pretty decent. Oh no.
Oh, Panzer IV through the hedgerow there, does miss, and we now have a Vet 3 T-70, a tale of two eventualities there. We've got the best scenario for Nagano, it survives and gains Vet 3. It could have died just now.
Yeah, but you see the pressure from Isildur. Now he has a choice of either reinforcing his squads or taking up. Isildur isn't giving him the choice of taking up and reinforcing the squad, so he's being aggressive, and this is where Isildur wants him, honestly.
What can he do against these Grens? He just has to back away with the Zis guns. He's got the T-70. That was a quick repair. Double Vet combat engineers. That's a nice little win for Nagano if he can keep those things going.
Yeah, okay, it's stacking up now, okay. So he just needs to buy some time, because the VPs are starting to get a bit worrisome. 200 VPs is, not the best. But I think he still has time.
And an ISU 152's, it's great, but it has to be on the field for a very long time to really stop blapping everything, It's kind of one of those things. It's a bit of an RNG cannon in its AoE anti-infantry shells. So you don't want it on the field. It's not going to save the day, Devon. These big heavy tanks don't tend to save the day anymore. They need about 10 or 15 minutes to really get going and start grinding your opponent down. And Nagano, he is going to be entering the situation with 150 victory points or lower. So he really just needs to concentrate on getting a tank out. Not so sure he can wait.
He needs to control the center VP. He really does, yeah. Isildur needs to keep the pressure, and Nogano needs to somehow get the center VP. Those are the winning conditions right now. And you can see that Isildur is happy by just holding the two VPs and keeping the bleed on, because as you can see, the VPs are already down below the 200 mark, so Nogano is on a timer.
He certainly is. Just had a marked vehicle in somewhere. He's got the northern victory point. He's slowing things down, but that's all he's doing right now. The Zis guns, of course, one's low health. He can't really hang around and let the Grenadiers just hunt him down. He has to be really careful. Got a little bit of a northern engagement. He's flanking the MG42. That's a nice little win. There's a plane
Okay,
crash.
this
I
is
think.
fuel back. Although the P4 is already moving in to respond to that.
Oh God! Just that tac map awareness of Isildur. He's so quick to react to things.
Yeah, he is. He's also really quick to dodge grenades and all that. Even with usually attack map users maybe have a bit more difficulty dodging grenades, but Isildur is always on top of that as well.
Ridiculous. Isildur OP. Okay, so Pioneer's coming in to take cutoffs now. So just as we thought he was trying to rescue a point back, he may be in danger of being triple capped. He has to fight really hard to keep this northern victory point now. And the Wolves are at the door.
Yeah, just the sheer pressure from Isildur, it's being too much. And he's also attacking for tier 4 now.
Oh dear, Panzerwerfer incoming.
Yeah. It's not looking great for Nogano, honestly. He might get to 2-2, which is a great win if he can do that. No, he's not chasing. 2-2 is getting away.
Oh dear. T70 needs to stay alive, so can't afford to do it. Oh, by the way, it has been saying on my overlay that it's a best of 3. It is indeed a best of 5 today. I'll try and correct that now. Probably should correct it after the game. Grenadiers in a spot of bother. T70 pokes at them. They're just surveying the situation now.
We have a next minefield in the retreat path of Nogano right now. That's a sneaky minefield.
I saw that. Oh, no, there's 2. Yes, I didn't see that one. That's even funnier, but he's just spotted it, fortunately for him. He's put 2 up, though. There is another one on the cutoff that the T-34 is currently demolishing. That's a bit BM, isn't it? A little bit. That's like he's taking the piss a bit there. I love it.
But he can do it. Like I don't see how Nogano will get out of this situation. The T-34 is already out, but it's countered by a double pack and a P4. Not sure how effective it will be.
No, it's just. I mean, let's face it. He's hard counted on an infantry. He is starting to get the 7-man cons on the field. Yes, so you know, and his infantry reinforcement costs will be a lot lower now. So there are silver linings here, and you will. It's not one of those things that's immediately obvious, especially to the casual viewer. But you will start to feel like Nagano can stay on the field a little bit better, and it's not because he's winning engagements. It costs him less to die.
That is correct.
But after this, he's really got to be thinking of possibly even a Katusha. Anything that can really force away this heavy support weapon game. Oh, combat is dying.
No! Oh no, he lost his gun and engineer. Yeah. Oh, this is terrible. Yeah. Just look at the units.
He's going in to make a super guard squad. They are getting suppressed though. Everything's getting suppressed. He's crawling forward to the flamer. Can the super guard squad, urban assault guard squads help him?
It's over.
He may have already quit. Yeah, this could be server lag now. Oh no, he's just put smoke down. He's still going. Go Nagano!
I think that the problem from Nogano here was that mid-game. I think he bled too much, and Soviets, you really can't have that in the mid-game. You need to build up your unit composition.
Well, the tanks pushed in, Devem. That was cool. T-70 got some kills. The T-34 died and can't shoot out of control in observer mode. Devem's not even looking at the monitor anymore.
yeah, the game is over. I'm just kidding.
But there was once you said that and it didn't happen. Oh, he's pushing for the victory point in the west.
I have at times called out the game too early, but this time around I'm fairly certain that the game is over.
He even once messaged the players mid-game and said, guys, this game's over.
Yeah, just quit the game. You're wasting my time.
Oh, no, it's definitely server lag now. That's not Nagano playing. I think he's /Eld.
Yeah, definitely.
Finally, last time we thought he /Eld, he was still going, so.
Typing in chat how unlucky he was in the game.
Was he unlucky? I'm not sure. Devem's confirmed he will be playing in tournaments in the future and donating all of the money he wins to charities. He doesn't know that yet, but I've confirmed it for him.
Yeah, so I'll be donating my money to AE.
Save the world, okay. Let's just quickly look at the stats, shall we, and see what the end kill tally was. Oh, it's pretty good. Well, ooh, lots of kills. Very nice.
That KD is kind of terrible though.
That's pretty bad. And then you can see Nagano throw everything in, and then the AI take over. And it confirms
shows what I mean.
Nagano is better than the AI, Demon. He's much better than AI. And Isildur only lost one thing in the entire game. He had a pack get decrewed, and it only got 941% efficiency. So I think Isildur should probably just quit Co2. That's terrible. Terrible play.
But that graph shows what I meant. So he had so much manpower play. That KD shouldn't even be close to that. His early game was okay. It was nice. He held on. And then that mid game, he bled so much he couldn't tech up and follow up the P4 with the T34 soon enough.
No.
I think it just forced too much, and you can't do that in this matchup. You need to save manpower. You need to get your double Z's gun, your T34 out. You need everything before you can really fight.
I completely agree. And the Panzer IV, I mean, if we check the exact construction time of the Panzer IV, it will align with that graph very well, I'm sure. Let's scroll down here. Panzer IV, 15 minutes. Let's go to the graph. 15 minutes. Well, it takes 40 seconds to actually build and be on the field. But as soon as it's on the field, there's the army value. And then Isildur can never really keep up with him. He never gets the counter out. And he's just fighting an uphill battle from that point onwards. So yeah, Panzer IV OP, unless it's countered. Alright, and guys, let's get ready for game 2. There we go, that's better. Got DevM in the house now. DevM, we were just talking about what he could have done differently build order-wise, Nagano there. What would you like to have seen him do?
I think that he should have built maybe a mortar too, because you see that Isildur has a double MG, and the double MG to lock down the VPs is really annoying. So a mortar would probably suffice in dealing with the MGs. And then that AT gun, I think, is enough to deal with the P4 as long as he keeps it supported with the snares from the conscript squads.
Yeah. I think if you're up against support weapon spam, you do need tools that are built to not to counter them. I'm not saying he is going to counter the support weapons with a mortar. I'm not saying a mortar's going to make the support weapons no longer exist. But the smoke will help him capture the central victory point. The mortar will keep the AT guns moving around a little bit, keep them from being ultra ready to attack at all times. And it's just a decent tool. It's never going to be the full counter.
There's also an underused ability in the mortar, which is the flare.
Oh yeah.
It could give more vision for the Ziz gun to deal with the P4 and the 222.
It's not even on Vetracy anymore, I believe, the flare. I think it's from just you can use it, right? I think you can just use the mortar flare
I think
now.
So.
And it's really valuable. I see that even in mid-level play at the moment, and especially in some high-level play, the mortar flare for the Soviets really helps them understand, again, where those PaK 40s are, where those MGs are. So, yeah, it's a tool to really help you survive the mid-game Wehrmacht support weapon dominance. And Zany says, in 120 mil, we'll actually remove the support weapons for you as well, if it hits.
True, yeah.
But it does cost a lot. Alright, dudes, let's get ready for game 3, and then AE will go and make a coffee once we're sure it's starting.
Sounds good. Maybe we should make like a poll in chat to see what people think who's going to win the next game, because it is Nagano as Austere.
Okay. Yeah, I agree, and it is Amelie, so in tournaments, Austere tends to do better. Okay, there you go, guys. There's a poll for you. Oh, I can't say the word Nagano, so I'll put an asterisk. So
let's see what the people think.
Oh, and it is ready to rock and roll. So I'll get you in a party.
Yeah.
Borat's watching the game in the shower. Oh, that's great, Borat. Well played. Don't forget to wash everywhere. All right. Let's get Devem in a party. Let's watch the game. All right, guys. Don't forget to clean the laptop. Indeed, guys. I'll be right back. Just making a very quick coffee. Hang on. Hello there, and welcome to Game 2. Welcome to Nagano, who is 1-0 down and in a familiar position against somebody that has bested him quite a few times. But he's Wehrmacht Devem. What does that mean for him on Amelie Fields?
Yeah, Amelie Fields is a very open map. Austria really likes open maps. So I feel like if Nagano wants to strike back, it's right now with Austria on Amelie Fields. Grenadiers also enjoy that long range.
They do with the LMGs, that's for certain, and they'll make great use of this. And maybe it can be a case of the Empire strikes back or the Reich strikes back, because we could end up with that. Devem, yeah. I've noticed something. It is partly due to maps when you've got players that aren't playing psychological games. But I've noticed in, for example, Kimbo series and a few other series recently that when one player wins as a certain side, that side tends to keep winning. It's happened. It's a recent phenomenon. But we had like a 7-4. Sorry, we had a best of 7, which ended 4-3 in recent tournament history. And I was just left thinking that the players kind of don't go full in when they know there's longer to go in the series and one side has already won on that map.
Yeah.
Have you noticed this happening?
I've noticed that as well, yeah. You had that series where the Axis won all games, and then you had the other series where Allies won all games.
Yeah.
And it was quite noticeable.
I think so. And I I commend a player such as yourself. I believe you always kind of went full in every tournament game you ever played.
I did. I didn't care if I lost or not.
No, you didn't. You didn't. And that's made it very exciting watching. And Kimbo's somebody that's gotten a bit more reserved recently. He's not quite as aggressive as he once was. So maybe there's also that psychological element we have to keep an eye out for, and it's not deliberate from the players, but it is certainly in Company Hero psychology at the moment that one side tends to win until they get to the deciding ace game, and then it's a best of one. Yeah. I've seen it happen, so it's definitely not over for Nagano. There's multiple factors in his favor in this game too.
We already have a big difference in this game though. Isildur has been able to grab the green cover on the fuel point, so he has both fuel points early game. I think this is due to his build order. He started with 3 cons and not double engineer, so that gave him more early game power.
Certainly doesn't. No, look at him get past this MG. He couldn't pin or suppress anybody.
No.
He's gonna go for the house. Nagano he is, and that's a good decision. He didn't actually suffer many Muzzle shots to the face there. He'll be all right. Meanwhile, Grenadiers are gunning down combat engineers. Double force away now. Isildur's just trying to get one more Grenadier model down. And overstays is welcome, so Nagano will be able to take his fuel. But Deveb, how much plus 33 income, double fuel has he had now? It's been about 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, this is great for Isildur. I mentioned that Nico last game, that he had a good early game. This is even a greater early game. And it has to mess with the mantle from Nagano as well, that he isn't performing as expected in this early game, especially coming from a loss.
Yeah, we're in for a big game too here, because Nagano has to get on that Wehrmacht train. And I think he has the advantages of the faction and map scenario. He has the advantages of being game 2 and being 1-0 down. We've discussed in the Company Heroes tournament landscape does seem to give a psychological edge for some reason at the moment. He just needs to survive this early game Isildur onslaught, because it's been a very good early game by the Brit.
And you can see that because of that fuel that Isildur had, the 2-2 is delayed by a bit. So in a normal game, if you had that fuel, the 2-2 could already be in protection, but it isn't. We also have to keep in mind that this 2-2 should have hit a lot sooner than Isildur's in the last game, because he went for 3 Grenadiers and not 4, so that tier 2 came in sooner.
Now this is an interesting decision from Isildur. He's doing what he did in the Master League 5 finals, getting an M5 half-track, possibly to become an M17 Krautmower very shortly. And that's directly going to counter the 2-2. He's already got a lot of munitions as well to spend on the quad mount, so big plays coming in from Izzy.
Yeah, you can already see like a different philosophy where Isildur doesn't want to give Nagano like any edge on the game. He doesn't want to have like that ebb and flow where now I'm losing and I have to hold on. He's trying to match every timing of Nagano with his own vehicle.
This is going to be ultra brutal. The 2-2-2's just now coming in for its very first shots of the game. And the quad mount is nearly finished. This could be a very quick game too. Oh, I've gone from thinking we're going to go for a titanic struggle. Nagano's going to hang on by his fingertips. But
oh no, the MG.
Good amount of health on the last crew member. Yeah, he's a healthy boy, the one last guy surviving. He's got terrible psychological trauma. But he's still got all of his legs and arms.
But I already feel like this is night and day from the previous game. I feel like Isildur is already doing so much more pressure than Nagano did, and he doesn't have the same bleed that Nagano had last game as Soviet.
Here's the 2-2-2 just coming in for a little bit of a lick on the frontal armor of the M17, but doesn't really do any damage. He's got the Pack 40 now, though, so he's going to survive. He's also had his own fuel and a victory point for a while. So, no major damage done by the quad mount thus far.
Yeah, but, it has zoned out the 2-2, which is already enough, as I see it.
Ooh, those are better shots.
Conscript's pushing up to try and probably scout for a pack and see if it's already out or not.
Yeah, let's just show Isildur's camera work here and show his fog of war. Just keeping an eye on things. He sees the Grens pushing in. He's done his reconnaissance. That's what Devon was talking about. There's that reconnaissance. He's just trying to get a feel for where the Grens are arriving, what direction they're taking.
And because of the lack of bleed, because, you know, the quad mount has been able to somewhat stall the game a bit, it has given the opportunity for Isildur to bring out that 4th conscript squad, which in turn will help him deal with those LMG grants a little bit better later on.
Quadmount went over here to deal with the conscripts. They're behind heavy cover though. Oh, it's the 222, sorry. And Pack 40's just positioning ready for the Quadmount to dare come down. Oh, what a shot from max range that is!
Yeah, very nice shot. Now Isildur again with the control of the double fuel. And this is really important, just so everyone knows, like, every minute that you spend with double fuel is really important, because not only are you obviously gaining double fuel, your opponent is denied the fuel, and it's going to delay his P4 timing. And the P4 timing is always what you want to look for, because it's the most important unit that Austir can bring out in the field to then gain their own advantage in the mid game.
Isildur's going for a second half track here. He's not going for a T70. I had in the back of my mind, oh, maybe we'll see a T70.
Oh, no way he's going for a second
play.
one.
This would be insanity. A octuple mounts, 8 heavy machine guns. Now we're talking.
He's throwing a curveball. I think he's going to try and make the pack overextend and surprise Nogano with a second.
Oh my god, what a play this will be! I think Isildur's going to make a few more fans here, because people are obviously fans of him as a legendary tournament player over the last couple of years, but now he's playing big balls plays like this. This is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, he just needs to kind of lure the pack in. So when you pop with the quad mount in one side of the map, you know that he's going to move the pack there, right? So you just need to wait like 20 seconds. And then he's probably going to go in with both light vehicles on the pack gun. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll see what he does.
See what Devon, this must make you want to play tournaments again, seeing players like this.
I do want to, but, you know...
Oh, you're a company man now. Indeed.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so half tracks coming down the front. Straight into the MG. Drawing the pack's fire. Where will the second one go? He's going just kind of frontally with them.
This is not the best.
Oh, he's overdriving in. He's overdriving in. He's using one as the decoy. What is the decoy? It was a decoy M17. It was me, Nagano. It was me all along, Nagano. He's got the real M17 quad mount here, trying to gun down the pack.
Okay,
he decrews it. And now he's going to gun down the 222. What a play.
In the center as well. That's big. That's big. Even if the push doesn't work, he stole one MG. Oh, he got the 222 as well. No way.
What an incredible suicide decoy play. Oh my god. It was like a hologram play. He got 3 kills with it. Oh my god, he destroyed 3 things.
Just... Oh my... No way. He's probably going to get the pack as well with the 2 conscript squads.
Oh, will it survive? It's decrewed as well. What a play! That was like the hologram that Duke Nukem used to throw out, and also in the Halo series, you get the hologram class, and you throw a decoy version of yourself forward, and everyone's like, "Oh, shoot him!" It was a decoy. Also from Total Recall in that movie, he uses a decoy version. Incredible.
This was so big for Isildur.
Oh my god! I've actually finally I've seen the hologram decoy play in Company of Heroes. This is insanity. What the hell? What was that?
Just look at the pop cap. It's double.
That was genius.
Suddenly, go see the graph.
Oh yeah, good call.
Army value.
All right. On army value, you want to invest in Nagano because his shares are an all-time low. Isildur's staying heavy, that is staying stationary, but Nagano's dived to the bottom of the Atlantic there. Oh dear.
That was a big curveball, because usually Isildur doesn't go for this kind of plays, but today he did, and it worked out great for him.
Well, it's like the quiet guy at school that suddenly gets in a fight and goes berserk. Sometimes it's the quietest players that are actually the crazy geniuses that are going to do something insane. And Isildur just did something that you know, if Von Ivan did it, it'd just be another day in Von Ivan's life.
It's another day in the office.
Yeah, but for Isildur, that was insane. Right, it's gone quiet though because he's had to take all of his units back, but...
Yeah, he just had to reinforce everything, but he's coming back in force to the field with the extra MG now, 4 cons, you know, just too much, I feel like. I don't think that Nogano can match now what Isildur has.
No, 6-man MG as well. Well, it's only 5-man. He hasn't bothered to recruit the 6th, and that's probably a decent decision because 5's already OP.
You know, because like it's like a lose-lose situation. Nogano needs to obviously rebuild his army, so he's going to be late for his P4, and now Isildur can just have his T-34 out really soon. He just needs the fuel, and you know, then you can just overwhelm the Pakan again.
Yeah, it's rinse repeat now. We need
Yeah,
telemines. The only thing that can save him is a juicy telemine or something like that. Or maybe a target weak point, but he doesn't have any veterancy on his pack. It's a brand new pack crew, so you know he doesn't have the abilities to that Wehrmacht usually rely on to claw their way back into these games. You really need to think outside the box and use a few abilities here and there, and as I say, well-placed mines, of course, but he doesn't have that at his disposal.
Yeah, I'm just expecting now. Yeah, he clicked the T-34 right away when they had the resources. I was expecting that.
Yeah, well timed, yeah. With a Vet 3 quad mount as well, the suppressive capabilities, the maneuverability of this thing, it's just all over the map. If he thinks there's 2 of them probably now, it's that present.
Yeah, I expect now Isildur just to reinforce his squads, have the 3 conscripts that are in base just in the field, ready to go when T-34 arrives so they can push and clear the pack gun.
Here has 14 kills. One of them's a vehicle destroy. Just forcing everything away. Rifle nade on the combat engineers. That certainly helps things. Keeps him in the victory point game, which he's actually doing well on, to be honest. The one thing Nagano has right now is victory points. But Isildur has something much more valuable. He has a medium tank and a Vet 3 M17.
Yeah, okay, this T-34 is out. He just needs to know the location of the pack gun.
Let's watch his units start to fan out and understand the situation. And Nagano's got his units separated right now. This is bad news for him. The 222 is going to get taken out.
It's going to get down. Yeah, I can see it getting... Oh, what? He lost the quad mount to the pack and...
Oh, that's a good long-range kill. That was on the western side.
Yeah.
I believe. And the 222 got taken out. So we've had a quad mount die and the 222 die. So 2 separate engagements there. He split his units and he actually ended up getting a kill. With the pack.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Isildur actually lost that quad mount, because I do feel like if he had kept it, he had the potential to make a really big push. Now it's a bit more risky to go for the push, but the option is still there.
Trying to find the corpse of the quad mounts. Trying to see where it exactly died. Have you seen where it died, Devon? Obviously it disappeared from our screens, but was it an amazing long range?
Actually, I don't see it. Maybe he destroyed the wreckage. I think he might have destroyed the wreckage.
Okay. I know it was. The last time I saw it, it was kind of here in the west. It was suppressing things, and then I looked over to the east and watched that engagement and saw that how weak Nagano looked. But he ended up being able to take out. Well, the 222 died, of course. The T-34, which was what we had our eyes on. But no, the pack was meanwhile busy. Well played.
Yeah. Before coming out, I think that's because Isildur lost that quad mount. He kind of lost an opportunity to do a pack push. But still, I give the advantage to Isildur. I think he still has the most dominant army.
Yeah, but I tell you, he didn't really kind of solidify his advantage too much. I mean, he does have
did not,
double
yeah.
fuel.
He could have done better.
Nagano's still in the game, especially with that victory point count.
I'm also not sure why Isildur isn't going for a commander. I feel like he could really, you know, gain something from going a commander now and just close out the series, but
MG in the center. Yeah, he's not even bothering at the moment. 7-man cons coming in from multiple angles. MG's currently worried about the one in the north. The other MG-42 on the field, the Soviet one, could get eaten up by the Panzer
he's
IV.
trying to go for the Pakan and the MG. But the LMG Grants are already there to support the MG retreat. And the P4 is there as well.
Yeah, it should be fine. Oh, Pioneer's low. Should be fine. Meanwhile, T-34 versus Panzer IV confrontation. Hack comes up to support. And Nagano's fighting like his life depends on it. He's fighting really well in this game. A lot of people would have even considered giving up after that double M17 push earlier on, but to his credit, he's still in this. He's getting a second Pioneer as well to keep the Panzer IV in tip-top condition.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Nagano isn't even tilted, because I feel like Nagano does get tilted a lot when, you know, the game goes wrong. So I'm surprised keeping himself in the game.
I mean, he does come from a long, rich history of comeback victories. Famously, you know, he was... when he used to have the Commander Panther as OKW, he had many comeback victories. But ever since the Command Panther was nerfed, he's not really won as many tournaments. To be brutally honest, but it's true. But he does have a long, rich history of staying in games when it's viable to do so. He doesn't overstay his welcome, but I have seen good Nagano comebacks in the past.
I think maybe if he was any other faction other than Austere, he would have quit. But because it's Austere and on Amly fields, you always have the chance.
Yeah, he's trusting in it right now, but you can see the material advantage that Isildur had in that first game compared to Nagano's position. In the first game, Isildur at this point had 2 MGs and 2 packs, and Nagano is lacking, you know, the double of both support weapons, and that just shows you the damage that's been done.
He's harassing the fuel now. Yeah, he isn't letting Nagano have any of the fuels. Zisgan, of course, countering the MG.
Indeed. Pushing up through the western side. Pioneer's pushing ahead. He really wants to continue the push. It's a good idea to push with double Pioneers. I mean, that's 6 MP40s, of course, and amazing vision that they provide, but it's really steady.
Yeah.
Nice molly on the veteran MG there. And also what Nagano's been doing with double MGs or double Pioneers or double combat engineers, he's been double planting mines in tournament games, DevM. It's a really interesting tactic. And it works because obviously you don't get spotted doing it. You're very quick to build it.
Yeah, he really needs one of the Teller mines to actually win him the game now, so...
Has he actually planted one? Oh, big shot in there from the Ziskan.
Sure, actually.
Got a Pack 40 penetrating. The T-34 is going to be okay, though. That thing has 7 kills thus far.
He's just being annoying with the T-34, not letting him cap the fuel yet again.
Really annoying. Second T-34 to follow. And but Nagano, to his credit, is on 100 fuel. He's only 20 fuel away from his own second medium tank.
Yeah, I do feel like, okay, no, never mind. Isildur used too much manpower to reinforce. I was going to say that the 30-34 might hit before the second P4, but yeah, he used his manpower now.
Just trying to clean my glasses. Rifle nade was threatened there. I heard it click, but didn't see anything happen. And I am really blind.
No, he cancelled the rifle nade.
No, I had my glasses off. I was cleaning them. I am just genuinely blind. I was casting based on my sounds. I heard a click of the rifle nade, but I didn't hear an explosion. Anyway, T-34 demolishes that sandbag. The Grens were utilising it. 2 7-man conscripts are pushing, but we have an MG ready to stop their onslaught. He changes targets and keeps the other one at bay. Very good play by Nagano there.
It sense that Isildur wants to be more aggressive in the next few minutes. He's readying up for that.
Yeah, he's got all of his tanks well oiled, fully fueled. His men are stocked full of provisions and munitions, and they're all ready to go. He's got a full health army. Isildur, it's a good chance to poke his head around and see what he can see. See if there's anything to exploit. He's also got a flare in there. That's a tripwire flare though, but it's just giving him some positional information.
Yeah. I think maybe he's waiting for the 30-34 before really going in.
It's a stalemate right now, though. He doesn't fancy it. He's got a full health army, but he's just waiting, as FM says. And I have to say, 3 T-34s is really like a magic number. It's same with Sherman tanks, you know. If 2 is fine, but 3, you can do things with 3 allied medium tanks. You really can.
The conscripts are really being annoying here on the green cover wall. The MG has to go back.
Yeah, but here comes the double LMG Terminator Grenadiers. They're not going to stay there for very long. Oh, meanwhile, Ziskun's just found the pack. Sorry, the Panzer IV.
Okay, Isildur knows about the second B4 now. He's building an Su-85, so maybe he's thinking of playing this a little bit more slowly than I would expect.
Yeah, and big credit to Nagano for getting to this point where Isildur's like, right, we're in for a game
no.
here. Oh, there's a mine as well.
I
Oh,
don't
he
like
hit the
this
mine. He knew it was there. I swear to
Okay,
God he
shows
did.
the commander.
Stuka close air support because he wants to keep his Panzer IVs alive. Oh, but he can't do so thanks to this T-34 coming round the outside, getting a rear armor shot in there. Ziskun combo, and now the Stuka's just flying over, looking at the wreckage and the smoke.
Yeah, I don't believe this push. P4 died for nothing. And now instantly Isildur reacts to that and cancel the Su-85 for a Katyusha. Okay, now
Nice.
an extra Zizgun.
What is he thinking? He's not used to commander either, this guy.
Not sure if I agree with the second Zizgun. He just lost the second P4, so he shouldn't be really worried about dealing with too many tanks, but we'll see.
He's got 230 fuel nearly. He could go an IS-2 on armored assault tactics.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah. I
interesting.
feel like he could even keep spamming T-34s and he would be fine. You know, Nogano just lost a P4 for nothing.
Classic Isildur. Well, it was very unclassic Isildur early on with the crazy double M17 play, but going for a second AT gun is classic Isildur. Gansgale in chat. Germans appreciate efficiency and kind of like, you know, just professional ways of doing things, methodologies. So they're like,
Yeah.
go Isildur, very efficient. Keep up the great work. Double pioneers.
Just look at the manpower conservation from Isildur. He has a huge army, which usually weights in on your manpower income. But because he has been taking the engagements really well, he still has the manpower for maybe even a 30-34 soon enough.
119 kills to 94 deaths for Nagano. So Isildur has very decent manpower income. Double penetration there. Zis goes through the bush. The T-34 goes through the rear. And another shot from the Ziskun. Panzer IV in a bit of bother there.
Yeah, just look how annoying Isildur is. Nagano can't get center VP.
No, he can't. He's clawing tooth and nail. He still has a superior victory point count, mind.
Yeah, but I think at this point, what we should look at is the army composition and how the engagements are going. And Isildur is
target weak
clearly
points.
winning.
Sorry to interrupt. He could actually kill this T-34 here with a Vet 3 pack. He has sight. He goes for the shot. Oh, it comes off the cooldown just in time. Target weak point wears off just before that last shot can go in.
He needed that. He needed that T-34 to die.
He really did. Conscript's now going for the western victory point, trying to accelerate the the ticking clock of Isilda's dominance. And we now have a choice. Guard rifle, combined arms tactics. He has a lot of munitions. He could go for a strafing run. He could go for a howitzer or a KV-1. In fact, he's going for a Katusha. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he's going to use the strafing run plus the Katyusha to try and decrew the back end. Probably the MG as well, just go for the steals.
Yeah, well, if you get rid of that Vet 3 pack, that's a huge part of Nagano's army.
Before I think to take a lot of damage again.
Yeah, we've had some very beautiful looking Panzer Tactician smoke, but it doesn't matter because the Ziscon knows where he is. Can't overshot that though. Here comes a strafe. Look at the strafe. MG fully down. And the Katusha's probably getting ready to fire as well. Now Pioneers are going to go pick up the MG, but that's veterancy. He didn't need to lose. He didn't even pull in the T-34 there. He could have done as well. He has multiple opportunities available to him. Where's this Katusha? It's coming in for a closer shot, Devem. And here come those first shots now.
Must be on the back end for sure. Yeah.
Oh, and here comes that T-34 from the eastern side, attaining veterancy 2. Pack survives, Devem. That's big for Nagano.
Yeah, but still, look, just the pressure. The fact that Nagano has always had to repair the P4 every time it goes to the front line is really waiting in on him.
Oh, Pack 40 just went forward, yeah. Conscript's low, saving the Pack's life. Pack now attacks the T-34. Meanwhile, on the western side, Gren's being forced away by conscripts and T-34s. They're triple cap now for Isilda. Nagano's victory point slips below the Englishman's.
Yeah, and just look how controlled Isilda is. He isn't really going for any risky pushes. He's just, you know, trying to counter Nagano's build order. You know, getting the right units out. Waiting for Nagano to do a mistake. Which you could argue, like, it gives Nagano a chance to come back, but, you know, he just does it so well that it's really annoying to play against.
Yeah, it's like that really annoying James Bond song from the 1970s. Nobody does it better.
That's like, you always have those
Makes
references.
it look easier than the rest. No one does it half as good as Isilda does. Isilda, you're the best. That's what Devem's saying. I didn't know you were such a big Isilda fan, Devem. That was... are you a member of the Isilda fan club? Panzer IV looking low?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Oh, Bakan is going to get harassed by the conscript squad, and that's a veterinary pack. You don't want to lose that.
And the strafe. Oh no, here it comes. Bye-bye. Oh, he didn't leave to lose that veterancy. And he's probably gonna quit now, let's face it. He's got 3 T-34s gunning him down. He could try and take out this one, but he's lost his pack. Oh no.
Yeah, these guns are just going to do their work now. Work their magic.
Oh god. Like a...
It's safe to say that the game is over now, can I say it?
He's still got one finger left, you know, or something. Grenadier's like a kid at Christmas getting a PlayStation 4 off Grandma. The pack was deleted in front of their very eyes there. And this is not looking good. Sabin and chat, Steiner, I don't feel so good. Oh, he really wants this Nagano. Does he sick of losing to Isilda? He's going toe-to-toe with this pack. This Panzer IV and the T-34, sorry. Rams him! This BM ram! Oh my god, and kills him with the Ziskuns from afar! There you go, that's all you need to see. That's just absolutely beautiful. Wanton devastation. Good way to end the game.
This is tough for Nagano. He should have won this game. As Austria, you really needed the win, but you know now it's going to be tough.
Now it's going to be tough. He's 2-0 down, and Isilda is looking unbeatable today. GG, well played.
GG.
chat. We just had some epic news, guys. You may not know this, but DevM was actually part of a Co-1 clan with Nagano. And he's just announced that he is going to be tagged in like WWE Wrestling. It's a hot tag. Nagano's tagging DevM into Game 3.
I brought in the chair just to break his back.
With steel chair in hand. There you go. That's what we need. But that's always the same with those wrestling matches. Like, one of the guys, he's getting beaten up for like an hour. And then he just gets the tag to his friend. And his friend comes in. You're that friend. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I'm worried for Nagano now, because when you are, 2-0 down, you lost us both factions. Sometimes you can start getting unconfident with your play. Not sure if Nagano is going to be like that, but it can happen. What's the next map, by the way?
It may be Canal Park, I want to say. Let's just go and see if they've already started or anything like that. They have. They're 3 minutes away from starting, so we're going to go on exactly a 3-minute break, guys. Let me just go get my RAM back, get DevM in a lobby, and then we'll release him for toilet duty and drinks making duty. But yeah, 3 minutes, guys. We'll be right back.
Yeah, be right back.
one.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Nogano versus Isildur. Here on the west side of the map we have Nogano as Soviets trying to fight back and get that win that he so much needs right now. And who is up against the...
Who is he up against? He's up against the Assault Grenadiers soon of Isildur. It is an urban map. It's Canal Park, the amazing creation of the tournament organizer herself. It is just a beautiful map. A lot of people commented that on YouTube recently. But Assault Grenadiers, for me, that is a commander often used against Isildur. It's very rare you see the English gentleman go for these MP40 sprinting Grenadier variants.
Yeah. He's just throwing so many curveballs today, isn't he? Like, this isn't the Isildur we usually see.
Maybe Von Ivan's playing on Isildur via remote desktop.
Yeah, he tapped in.
Just like he has been doing to his own computer in Detroit from Russia recently with 5-second lag. Needed to get his code fixed, but interesting bit of barbed wire. They're just stopping the barbed wire being utilized against him. Sorry, the sandbag being
Interesting
utilized.
map. Can you actually use the bridge that's on the center of the map?
The bridge on the center of the map. Yes.
Yeah, you know.
You can. Yeah, you can. It's one of the best looking maps of all time, but unfortunately Relic can't commit to any future map updates for the game. But we'll always have it in tournaments, and it's going to be a tournament staple for that forever, because, quite frankly, it's too good looking not to be a tournament staple. It just gives something so different in terms of how it looks. It plays pretty okay as well. It's like a 6 or maybe a 7 out of 10 in play, but it's a 10 out of 10 in looks, so, you know,
I agree,
why would we not use it? Ooh, a second Assault Grenadier as well. He's not going like one Assault Gren into... Well, sometimes people go 2 Assault Grens into 2 actual Grens for the Fausts. So we'll see if he goes full in, or he could go for Panzer Grenadiers after this. We'll have to wait and see.
Just so, like, if we have any new players in chat, the whole idea of the Assault Grens strategy is, you know, to be very aggressive early on and rush for the tier 2, get the 2-2 out, get the Pakan out, basically try and out-tech your opponent.
And he's done a good job of it so far. He's not only claimed his own fuel, send his MG down there, but he's also causing harassment on the north field, taking it actually, which is going to be a severe time penalty to Nagano, who's 2-0 down, of course.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Double fuel yet again. And we also have a sprint from the South Grens. Conscripts have to go back to base in the center of the map.
They do. We do see a flank coming in against the... Oh, but it's a third Assault Gren. And Nagano needs to think outside the box here. He needs an M3 half-track. I'm just going to bloody say it. You know, when you're up against 3 now, you have a limited time window to get back to base, get tier 1 and get an M3 on the field. It really gives you big pushing advantage. Other than that, he's going to really be pushed off these points. He is capping in the north, though, Devon, so it's not all over in the early game quite yet.
He's trading the map. He left the field for the other field.
Some sandbags down on the northern victory point. He's swapping, but let's see where his cutoffs are. His cutoff for the fuel is just below this mansion house, and that's where the Pioneer is going, of course. Not messing around, Devon.
Yeah, he's going for the jugular here. He's already attacking, so we'll see the tier 2 soon enough.
Now
I'm not... Yeah, go ahead.
He can use the map's fortifications. These burnt out buildings to his advantage here. He can keep the Assault Grenadiers behind them and just wait for the conscripts to dare try and take his own fuel. It's a really good map for it.
And I'm not really sure if I like that Nogano just built a sandbag on the North VP and he's waiting for Isildur to come to him. My boy, he has your cutoff!
This is an MG here. He is going to come and try and flank it. He's not playing the map, in my opinion, and Isildur is. It's that simple. It's strategies for maps. And I think Devon was one of the first players, to his credit, and he's with me today, that actually pointed out just how vital map-based strategy is in top-level company heroes. You know, you don't
They
just
are
bring
really
the same
important, honestly. I think it's why you also see like a big difference in top player versus medium level players. Is that top players usually can see what's good in the map and what works, what doesn't, the general playstyle that you should have in the map. This map, because it seems like it has many shot blockers, I really like what Isildur is going for. Just seems like a perfect fit, Saltgrens, to deny the fuel points here.
MG's doing a lot of work here. We've got one Flame, a combat engineer back in base, going for the support weapon. And Maxim is his choice.
Really,
fair enough.
Maxim.
Versus
Really?
2-2-2. I mean, my idea was probably worse. The M3 would have been countered by the 2-2-2 as well, of course, but maybe we'd gone one much earlier.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Maxim? Like, the problem here is that if Isildur can now inflict some manpower bleed, because he built a Maxim, that T-70 is going to get delayed. And usually you don't want to delay the T-70, especially against Assault Grants, because they don't have any FOSS. So, you know, the T-70 is really effective.
He's playing risk averse here, Devem. He's playing not to lose. He's not playing to win, and it's because he's 2-0 down. I get that. Not every player comes out, you know, swinging for the fences, going crazy. But I strongly believe that versus Isildur, you have to do something to throw him off his game. And I strongly believe that Redacted, when he wasn't doing redacted activities before he got redacted, in the tournament finals, I don't believe he was redacted. I believe he was actually playing redacted. So you have to use a bit of those kind of strategies and try and throw Isildur off his game.
Yeah.
Because in a big tournament final, that's the closest I've ever seen Isildur to losing.
Yeah, I fully agree with your statement.
What statement? The statement has been removed from the records.
Redacted.
Indeed.
Okay, let's see what Isildur is going for next, because, okay. So, and up until now, this was, you know, theory. Now it's adaptation.
Yep, 2 MGs, 2... I have to... I'm gonna be honest, I mean... A tier 1 build, maybe after the second corner penal with PTRS and an M3... He could cycle the PTRS with the Flamer into the M3 over and over again. He'd have so much better pressure. I'm not trying to be an arm seat, back seat gamer here, an arm seat general. Is that... Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Armchair general, that's it. Armchair general. Well, I clearly am being one of those, but it kind of is playing into his hands a little bit. Maxim's forced away. Oh, nice mine on the 2-2-2 though. Is there any follow-up? This is going to take too long to get out there. Oh, there's another mine.
So many
he's driving
mines.
past the mine. He's so close. Ah!
No, it's detected. It's detected, I think, by the minesweeper.
Oh, good. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That was a really good mine, though. Unfortunately, he didn't have like any conscript squad nearby to finish the job. But just look at the pressure. Like he's already harassing the fuel.
Oh. Nice use of the infiltration grenades there, or assault grenades as they're probably called.
Yep.
Ah, sorry, Model 24 steel grenade assault. Indeed.
I wonder if Nogano is thinking about skipping tier 3 entirely and just going for tier 4. Because at this point I'm not sure if the T70 is worth it anymore.
We're in for a long one, so I'm kind of reserving myself, because if this game becomes interesting, it's only through sheer attritional warfare. Mines are going to help him along the way. We've got shock troops to combat the assault grenadiers. Now that is interesting.
Yeah.
Shock rifle frontline tactics, that will help. We all know that shock troops in a one-on-one with assault grenadiers, they kind of own them. Oh, what a shot by the Zis there over the wall. Let's not count Nagon out quite yet, although I have been doing a little bit of that. You can understand why.
In this game, he isn't out. He does have a solid tier 2 play. I'm just worried that he's investing so much in you know, his infantry that then he's going to struggle to actually get tier 4 out. And we know that Isildur, you know, his timings are perfect. So we know that as soon as he can get that P4, he'll have that P4 out.
Oh, here come the Assault Grenadiers. They're going for the Zisgun. Conscripts retreat. Shock troops out of position. 222 comes to fight
but
them.
he zoned out the Zisgun. This is like perfect play. He zoned out the Zisgun with 2 Assault Grenadiers, and then the 222 dealt with the Shock Trooper.
So well timed. Timing is everything in Company Heroes. It's not about how fast you are, it's how well you time it. And it's what sets it aside from more Twitch-based RTS games like StarCraft. In this game, it's more about, as you say, timing.
Yeah. And we already have the Pioneer back at base. I'm sure that it's to start building the tier 3 for Isildurs. Eventually.
It'd be so cool if you went for an Ostwind or something. Just once.
Just want something else, please. Honestly, it wouldn't be bad. It would actually be great, the Ostwind here, just because of the unit composition that Nogano has. I wonder if he's going to adapt that, or if he's going to just play safe with the P4.
I have to say, I do like Nagano's adaptations. They took a while to fully formulate themselves, but the shock troops, in theory, should help him push out onto the map. However, there's now a second machine gun that's gone straight north and is designed to stop this build. Good barrage from the Zis. No follow-up, however.
Are we going to see the Ostwind? Let's see.
Ostwin. Ostwin.
Ostwind.
Oh, grenade assault on the shock troops. Ah, it could have been worse. Conscripts and combat engineers push north. 222 comes to ferry them back to base. 5 kills and counting on that devil. MG42 is being countered.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. They're coming from behind.
Okay, we are getting close to the field that he needs.
Our sector.
I really do feel like the Ostwind would be great here.
Come on, Isildur. You'll be a fan in our hearts forever. Come on, Isildur.
Well,
Click the button. Make it
Ostwind double
happen.
Black gun, go.
Go. Oh, he's missed the Ostwind timing window. We're getting a Panzer IV yet again. Ooh, nice shot from the Zisgun from afar there. Combat engineers can't finish that job, though. And look at this nice retreat path for the 222. Let's go on a journey with it down this road on its commute.
And just like the map play from Isildur, he either always has the fuel or he has the cutoff. Now finally Nogano is trying to get both of them back so he can have some fuel income.
Wow, that would be a thing.
And we already have a battalion of assault grenadiers going up to the north again to deny the fuel.
Oh my. With MG support, Pioneers lead the way. Conscripts have just made a sandbag, but it looks feeble. They're not even behind it, in fact. Suppressed instantly.
I think to flank the Maxim instead.
Not a bad decision. Maxim turns around and tries to get out of there. MP40s can't do anything from mid-range.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Yeah, here we go. Again, cutoff is going to be Isildur's.
Oh, that's going to hurt the Maxim. It does indeed. Shock troops close the distance. He's going to pass over a mine on the retreat path, leaving 2 Grenadiers alive. Oh, a shock Maxim. Very expensive.
Yeah, I think that he's not going for the usual before. He's going to go for the variant.
That's hype. The Alf J, okay. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go.
Incendiary artillery barrage ready to fire.
And indeed, Nogano skipped tier 3 entirely to go for tier 4. But he'll only have the fuel for T-34, which is a really bad matchup against the P4 that we are going to see.
Yeah, it really is. Hopefully for him, he sees the Alf J on the field and has the choice of going SU-85 or something like that. Or maybe, to be honest, it sounds crazy, but there are crazy ancient plays in Company Heroes such as Double Zis KV-8 Flamethrower Tank. It is possible to play that in elite level gameplay. We've seen it done in the past. Things can happen.
Yeah.
But if he just goes for the T-34 against the AFJ, he's going to be left wanting.
Is encroaching on our territory.
Yeah, I think he's going to double up his guns yet again, and maybe go for a T-34, just to have some map control back.
Most likely. Oh, look at this MG positioning in the north. The Assault Grenadiers attempting things into his path. The MG is in the cursed train yard, forcing everything back. What a play that is. Or can the conscript spot the AFJ? It's giving him choice. Yes, as the AFJ has been spotted before he committed to a T-34. So he has...
Yeah,
he's still going to do it. He's still going to do it.
I feel like he's going to get denied the fuel yet again.
Yet again. Oh, crushing coming. And he reverses out of there. Conscripts do have a grenade. He has damaged the tank and they are able to get it off.
Okay, that's going to buy some time.
Oh, this misses, however. 222's coming in for a flank on the Zisgun. Mad lad. Zisgun gets out of there before he can get there.
Now we see the problem with Nagano's build order, because he needs to reinforce so much that, you know, his manpower is really low.
Certainly is.
Those shock troopers, you know, they just take so much to fully reinforce.
They do a 30 manpower each, and a stark contrast to the conscripts.
Isildur, obviously, double pioneer, he has really fast repair, so that P4 is going to be ready in no time.
This T-34 has a moment. Oh, it gets hit by the pack immediately.
The moment is denied. Nope.
Just for 200ths of a second there, he was happy T-34, doing what he does best. Oh, T-34 reverses into action against the AFJ and gets
Not sure
rudely
if you want to do
awakened.
that.
No. This is able to miss a shot there. Shot troops paying blood for this victory point, and he's getting the one in the south as well, so he's keeping in the victory point battle. In fact, he has a little bit of an advantage there. Let's check out the stats and just see the KD is just over half for Nagano. Points held graph showing Isildur's just had mostly cutoffs, to be honest, Devem. He's not exactly dominated the map, he's just had all the cutoffs all the time.
Yeah, the cutoff play has been really good from Isildur. Like, I feel how the map is right now is how it has been for most of the game.
Unfortunately so, this cutoff has not been blue very often. AFJ is accumulating kills now versus Maxim. What's he thinking? He's waiting for the Zist to get up there. Maybe foolish in the end.
Oh, it misses.
Meanwhile, in the south, the Assault Grenadiers force the agenda into Wehrmacht's hands as the T-34 gets some good damage off on the Pioneers, but that's all it is. It's only damage.
Yeah, the Pakan is ready for the T-34 already. Just look at the difference of resources as well. He has double the fuel, even manpower, he has more manpower.
Grenadiers push in and are denied. Good shot from the T-34, claiming his 4th kill. As the pack is ready to attack, hits some cardboard boxes instead.
Here we have another cut-off attempt by Isildur. The Assault Grenadiers are pushing in, supported by the T-22, and the Pakan is moving in as well to follow the T-34 around.
Yeah, he's defending it a little bit better this time, but the pack's coming to change the situation. This
Second
has...
T4 in production.
Oh, wow. 2 AFJs, that's going to be brutal. I mean, Nagano's fuel count's at 94 now. An SU-85 could be helpful.
It could, yeah. But with that said, I think that double pack with double P4 is like any mistake that you do, any overextension. It's game if he just capitalizes on it.
Look at the swathe of red around the battlefield at the moment as the Alf J trundles into position. Going south. Back in the centre, shock troops paying in blood for territory. Yet again, S-minefield detonating around them. Triple cap in. At the moment, 222's in spot of bother. Those Ziskun's finding him. This could be a nice win. That's a vet 2-2-2-2 and it's dead.
I just okay, sure.
He slept on that one.
He's freeing up pop cap. Holy.
He wants 3 Alf J's indeed. Alright, second Ziskun is hitting for Nagano. And he's going to need every single shell to land in unison. Oh, that's a low health T-34. That could be very dead. He's spinning around. He's reversing away. He's got a Ziskun ready to help out, but he's already out of control. The Alf J wins the day yet again.
Yeah, I'm going to call it again. This game is over. I'm so sorry, but...
It seems that way. Mines win games, but you need a T-34 not to be up in flames. It's dead.
Yeah, no way you can recruit that Zisgun now.
Oh, he's going for... Oh, it feels like he's a below rank 1000 right now, just going for 18 aids on stricken tanks. He's just fighting an uphill battle, poor Nagano is. He's played well today, he's just been outclassed, unfortunately. Isildur's been on form.
He has been unpredictable as well, which really isn't what we are used to seeing from Isildur.
You know what, I'm really glad he played with different commanders as well. One Alf J does indeed die. He destroys the Ziskun, he's getting away with the other one. I mean, I suppose he did kill a thing there. Uh-oh. So low on manpower though.
And the thing is, like, when you are ahead, even losing one P4 is always worth it if you can get like some good manpower bleed in, because your opponent's already struggling.
Oh, double assault grenades!
Oh
Sorry to interrupt, Devem. That
God.
could have been much
No problem.
worse. He just ate them. But I see your point, sir. I see your point. Indeed, it's if you're ahead, training equally is like trading up. You know.
Yeah, you know, in chess, when you are up a piece, you just want to start trading everything. It's the same in Company of Heroes.
I beat you in chess one time, Devem. It was glorious.
We need to play again.
We could create content after this if we want to create a buffer for our YouTube video. If you want, I'll play you right now.
that would be actually great. I would be up for it.
Okay, we've got a plan. If this game ends in the next 5 minutes, guys, also maybe even if it goes a little bit longer, we'll play chess to make the YouTube video have some buffer at the end. People can't guess that it's the 3-0 easy victory. Right. I hope that voice actor returns for Go 3. He's so badass, isn't he?
He is.
We fight bravely for the Reich. I did contact his agent in London to see if he would say, "Hello and welcome to the Master League." But they never replied. Yeah, I offered them like, you know, I think £200 or something. I said for an 8-second.
I offered him a beer.
But it's like, you know, I think his agent didn't even pass it on to him. Probably he's done voiceover for games before. He's done lots of games. I said there's a gaming tournament. We just want one voice line, and I'll play it at the start of every tournament ever. And he wouldn't. They never replied to me. Bastards.
They really are. Maybe if you offered something else, you know.
What are you trying to say? Like, I have sex with an elderly gentleman.
Maybe.
Defo, I'm not willing to do that for the scene. You know, I'll do a lot for this tournament scene, but you really
Not so much, but you know.
I didn't offer enough. Oh God!
Sometimes you need to, you know,
go the extra mile. For God's sake.
Extra mile.
Well, I don't want to know how you got your job at Relic. I don't want to hear about it.
Like,
Oh gosh.
I thought we discussed not to
That was
tell this
NDA.
in public. Yeah,
It was
that
NDA. Oh, damn. Well, a lot of people on YouTube never got to this point in the cast and they never heard that hilarious exchange. So if you heard it, please say in comments, I survived to the end of the 3-0 victory.
We are joking around, but I thought the game would be over and Nagano actually...
I don't know how he's still in this. We've got a Panzerwerfer in a way. Only got 2 kills though, in fairness.
I think it's because, you know, Isildur's playstyle, he never... I think he has some problems, you know, being aggressive to finish the games. I think if he doubled up the P4s again and went for another rush, the game would be over. But he just wants to drill down his opponent with...
Well, he was very aggressive in the early game, as we saw earlier, with the double M17, or it was early to mid, I suppose. But yeah, I agree. He seems to not be able to pull the trigger when he's got a dominating position. Who can argue with his tournament success ratio in the last 2 years, though? It's been pretty godly.
Yeah, no one can argue, I think.
Devon, which version of you would have given Isildur the best game? When were you best trained in Code 2?
Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I suppose, unfortunately for you, it's difficult to tell because the player pool kind of got better and got worse, then got better and got worse again. It's very difficult to measure yourself. Relative to the field, like, I mean... Oh, go on, sorry.
I do, regret the time where ESL came online with all those tournaments that I didn't give it my full, so I was, you know, I wasn't practicing enough. I didn't really take it super seriously, and I feel like, you know, it was a very good moment for the game.
Yes, it was. It really was. We had so many great players come to the fore, and to be honest, you being not very good at that point in time was what the community needed, because you just stomped everybody into dust in the previous tournament, OCF, and it was the first community-funded tournament, and Devon was like, oh, go on, I'll buy KO2. In 2050, I'll buy KO2. I'll learn to play and I'll destroy you all. And it was a good thing that you got destroyed in ESL.
Yeah, I agree.
Panzerwerfer. Got some good kills there. He oorohs into the central circle. He's on 110 victory points. He really wants to stay in this. Nagano's doing great work today. He's showing good fighting spirit, good heart. But he's like Deontay Wilder in that last Tyson Fury fight. I think the punches landed by Isildur's just punching him in the head over and over again. The American commentators are like, oh, Deontay Wilder with a great face to punch combo.
Waiting for Isildur to break his hand while striking him in the head over and over again.
Yes. Amazing. He's going for the rare head counter.
Yeah.
Very good.
Actually, Isildur has been losing some units. I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's gotten a little bit sloppy here and there. He still has a decent advantage. He has a shit ton of fuel.
And we have an IS-2. Actually, this game...
What?
I don't... It might have some legs to it.
Whoa. Are you saying, Devem, that we've arrogantly called this game off 7 times in a row, and yet Nagano... Oh, yeah. Let's go. We've got a huge, big, heavy tank on the field. It's the IS-2 122mm cannon. Massive, thick wedge of Starlinium armor. And, Nico, it may be on the comeback trail with this bad boy. Let's see what it can do.
I'm really surprised that Isildur let the game get to this state. I really am.
Just with standard territory points, most of this fuel was accumulated. He didn't ever have the fuel in any meaningful way.
You know, I think this is one of the problems, like, hot take, but one of the problems with Isildur is that he's a bit like helping hands in the sense that when he has a big advantage, feels like sometimes he doesn't finish the game as he should and leaves some opening for the opponent to come back.
Maxim somehow survives that blast. And yeah, I get your point on hands. Sometimes these players, they get a little bit too cautious in the mid to late game.
Yeah.
IS-2 goes in, gets a cheeky little kill on a Pioneer there. Not quite the bombastic start, but you can't argue with the solidification of Nagano's defences at the moment. He's on 70 pop cap versus 77. We go to the tap map, and he's beginning to push up this very egg-shaped map. He's going to the northern victory point as we speak.
It's actually, I think that Nogano is in a good spot right now because actually his infantry is going to win out the engagements. Those assault grants have completely been denied now. We are in the late game. And the IS-2 with the Zizgan support is just, you know, it's a really good combo.
Well, it's actually stolen MG42 that Nagano has that just about survived.
Oh yeah, he does.
I don't know when he got that, but he did get it, so fair play. That's going to help. It's going to help keep him in this game on 95 victory points. Maybe we'll see it on the greatest series of all time. Maybe our chess match will be delayed, Devon.
Oh no, what the people wanted to see.
The viewers' figures just dropped immensely, indeed. Vet 3 Assault Grenadiers just bossing the south. In the north, we've got the Alf J Vet 2. Gets eaten by the Zis gun and a nice rear armor penetration from the IS-2. Going for another ego stationary, perhaps.
Guns are ready though.
Oh, the pack gun may be ready, but he's going for this Alf J. He doesn't care. He's been too aggressive here, possibly for his own good. He wants one lucky shot. At max range, he's too far away, though. He blitzkriegs out of there. That's low health now, and he was able to push away the spotting Assault Grenadiers.
Yeah, but just Nogano having the infantry advantage is so good. He can push through the map. He can, you know, zone the packs out.
Look at this as well. The conscripts push up to block the any adventurous packs trying to come up through the base sector. Very clever by the conscripts there, just protecting this IS-2, keeping it healthy.
Okay, we do have a Panther from Isildur coming up.
Okay.
If Nogano doesn't repair the IS-2 quick enough, we might see a rush.
He does have Vet 3 combat engineers and a Vet 2 one joining us, so I'm going to say he'll be fine, but it's going to be close.
Oh, I think he's going to Panzer War for the repairs.
Can he hear
Maybe.
it? He's always had. Let's get on board with Isildur and see if he's listening to this. We're on board with him here. He's pushing up. He must have heard something. He must have an idea.
Yeah, he knows it's there somewhere.
This is Isildur's point of view, everybody. We know exactly what he's looking at right now.
Here
And
we
he's
go.
seen it. He's seen it. Let's unveil the fog of war and see where it lands. Okay, he's actually
Goes on the
gone.
Maxim.
Yeah, he takes out the Maxim in the mid there. Assault Grenadiers could defeat the Zis gun here. This could be an all-encompassing push.
Oh no, I think he's going to lose the IS-2 as well if the Panther pushes up with the P4.
Oh, Zis down. Panther pushing in. Panzer IV's close behind. Recruits the Zis, isn't able to get any more shots off, but here comes the grenade assault. Does he land any grenades? Oh, very close. The shield saves the day. Oh, here comes that gruesome twosome. They're all coming around Devem. They're all coming in. We've got packs as well. What a good push this is. He's going past the Zis gun. He's one more big shot. Is he going to go for it? No, he's happy just defeating the Zis.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about this. I think he could have went for the IS-2 yet again, but he doesn't need to take any big risks, I suppose.
No, his risk profile understanding is legendary, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
He always seems to make just decisions that are just aggressive enough.
Nogano a bit desperate to get some VPs. Might lose the MG in the process.
There's a phrase called "fortune favors the brave," and I'm not sure Kamen Heroes 2 rewards that narrative. I think
Yeah.
sometimes fortune favors the frugal in this game.
Especially if you have abandons on.
Oh god, yeah. SU-85 building for Nagano. IS-2 with 1 pip of veterancy is back fully healthed. SU-85 also. Victory point situation is not looking so fresh, but he's got the southern one, and that's uncontested for the meantime.
Yeah. The manpower situation though isn't really looking the best for Nagano right now. Obviously he used the resources on the SU-85. so his infantry needs a little bit more time to fully reinforce.
He's pushing up the packs with the Panther just sitting behind that house. Nice IS-2 shot there, claiming his 9th kill. As the shock troops, Vet 3 push in, we've got conscripts waiting on the sandbag in the north. Shock troops getting to that central victory point. They're probably going to throw a smoke grenade, I predict. IS-2 crushes the wall, opens up the avenue for that Su-85. That's a good tactic. I know he didn't mean it, but it'll certainly help. Shock troops neutralise the victory point.
That Vet 3 P4 though, just look at the amount of kills it has.
42 kills, that is absolutely awesome. Panzerwerfer by comparison only has the 13 infantry kills, so FJ is just dominant.
Which equates to about 2 Maxims.
It does indeed. MG42 is being flanked here by this 7-man conscript in the north. Alf J comes to deal with the issue. And goes for a crush as well, a pretty decent crush to be honest.
Yeah,
he was waiting for the Su-85 though, Devem. He was waiting and he got the 18-aid off. That was well timed, if not a little bit lucky. He's going in! He's thinking of it at least. He's got the Isosceles Triangle of Death mode unlocked on the Su-85. He got a cheeky shot off there.
I would have went for it.
Devem, you may have went for it, but you would have either won or lost this game 10 times by now. We could have fit 10 Devem victories and 10 Devem losses into the space of this game.
But don't tell me if that wouldn't be super entertaining. You know,
well, that's why we made best of 7s or best of 21s for players like you, you know.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I like where that Su-85 is. If he needs to back up, he's going to, be super clunky.
Oh, I know. This is an Su-10,000. It's part of the house.
Oh, no.
That's a good call from Devem. It's very dead. Nagano, come on. I've got a coaching referral link. Maybe I can help you out. That was bad. He backed into the house there.
A20 for 20% off now on a coaching lessons.
Oh dear, that was unfortunate. IS-2 backs up. Vet 2 needs to survive. Indeed he does.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
He couldn't afford to lose that.
No, but the Su-85 really needed to start climbing that veterancy train. Needed to get to Vet 2, and he would have been back in the game, quite frankly, with a Vet 2 Su-85. And right now he's back to clinging on by his very fingernails. He needs to stay in this. Oh, he's flanked the MG42 in the south. That'll help.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
The Panther just crushing the shock troopers.
Ah, we just saw a very interesting use of incendiary barrage, forcing 2 assault grenadiers that were being pesky, and we're going to stop him. Well, we're going to cap the victory point, to be honest. Grenade out, forcing all 3 assault grenadiers back.
Just barely holding on.
No, 81 victory points remaining is not a good position to be in. Oh, he goes forward and avoids the Panzerwerfer very well there.
Yeah, he does. I was expecting that it should be on the Maxim again. That Panzerwerfer does seem to like that.
As a former 2 vs 2 world champion multiple times over, Nagano is very adept at avoiding rocket artillery when he needs to.
Okay, Isildur solidifying in the center now, probably hoping for a good push there.
Oh, why is he doing that, man? He's got 200 fuel and he's building a second MG. I suppose he wants to finish the victory point situation off.
Yeah, this is where, the playstyles differ. I usually really like to spam the vehicles and just end the game with that, but
I mean, it does. I mean, the MG becomes so important in the late game, though, Devon. You can't deny it, and we are now in the late game.
Good.
40 minutes and counting. IS-2 backs away. Veterancy 2 got the Maxim rat-a-taring away, knocking on the door. Oh, that's a nice penetration there from afar there.
Yeah, Nagano is in a tough spot because now he doesn't have the manpower to build the Zizgan back up or the Su-85, and he really needs that.
I have to say, infantry-wise, he's been playing out of his skin, hasn't he?
Yes, yes.
He's been playing so well. Nagano has to stay in this game with infantry alone. It's been really impressive, to be honest.
I think that's also like a side effect from the strategy Zilder went for. Those South Brands, you know that they are going to scale off. So it's to be expected that Nagano will have the infantry advantage.
Oh,
We both saw that.
he didn't need that to happen. Oh, and he's just throwing meat to the grinder now. This is bad. Conscripts need this victory point so much, and they're getting fired upon as we speak. That's a satchel charge. He still loses a soldier to it. And IS-2 is now ready for combat once more, but he's versus a Panther and double packs. He's got the Northern victory point, 79 remain.
Are we going to see a Tiger if he loses one of the tanks?
I really hope so. That'd be cool.
Don't think we'll get there. I think we'll see a triple cap now.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Su-85 soon to be on the field.
We are down
Panther shepherds everything back to base. This looks like game. IS-2 fires underneath itself. Now I'm all for like arcade kind of casual fun gameplay, but sometimes realism does completely take a backseat to all of that. That was amazing. It shot underneath itself.
It was questionable, but
It was questionable, yes.
Panther
Oh.
finally meets the Su-85.
It does. And as I say, if this Su-85 had been on the field for the last 20 minutes, he'd be in an okay position right now. But a
Oh, no.
zero vet Su-85 is not what he wants. Pax finding shots. He uses this burnt out building to his refuge and keeps it alive.
And the Packans are supported by the MG, of course.
Oh, Su-85 got some meaty shots in there. IS-2 turns back into the warfare. He needs to even fight with a 10% health. IS-2 because he's got no other options.
victory is slipping from our grasp. We have only 50 points remaining.
Or is that Panzerwerfer aiming at?
Oh,
Okay,
it's on
yeah,
the Maxim and the
Maxim.
retreating shots. Could have been a lot worse there as the double combat engineers aren't repairing the IS-2. They're having to go into the line of fire. And to be honest, that's not a bad option. Well, there's an MG that could be suppressing them right now. And there it is. The suppression opens up. 45 victory points remain. He's not going to be able to finish the cap. Oh, Vet 3 combat engineers burn up and die.
Oh no. I don't see Nagano being able to secure these victory points.
He went down with a fight, though, didn't he? Stayed in there. And he tried his best.
Last time we said that the game extended for 20 more minutes.
And you can't argue with him trying his best. He certainly did in this
Yeah.
game.
It did. Props to Nagano for fighting till the end.
Conscript's pushing in here. He does have a Vet 3 MG ready. He's gonna stay on the
Panzerwerfer
line.
barrage almost ready as well, so I'm sure we'll see it.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Will it be on the one-man Maxim? I doubt it. Probably in between the conscripts and the Maxim, I imagine.
It's on the South MG.
Oh, nice. Doesn't actually do anything though. Well, it probably kills all the ones except for the MG. Maybe they died. I don't know. 60 kills on the Auf J Panzer IV. 60. Ow.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a P4 with so many kills, honestly.
Oh, he claims the central victory point. 28. And you have to say, if he went on some mad killing spree with the Su-85 getting Vet 2, perhaps I just, it needs to happen. He could actually bleed Isildur out because he's only got 122 himself. I mean,
Yeah,
we
true.
don't expect it to happen, Devon, but things... it's not going to happen, is it? Not with this much infantry coming back onto the field. He's going to need something absolutely glorious to happen.
Yeah, he can't hold the center, and there's no way. That model, one model maximum has to hold. Nope, never mind.
Look how much fuel and manpower Isildur has as well. On 99 pop cap, he can just, if he loses something, he'll just get the Tiger Ace out immediately.
Soon enough, he can do 2 Tiger Aces.
Trading Satchel for Molotov there. He's having to die where he stands in order to keep the victory point for a few seconds longer. Finally retreats away. IS-2 is ready for war once more. SU-85 comes to help fight the Panther. But the packs are ready.
Yeah.
Oh god, and the Alf J pushes in at the perfect moment. SU-85 reverses away. Alf J has him in his sights. He's going to add to his immense kill tally. Bounces, needs to go stationary, gets the killing touch. There we go. Meanwhile, now it's the IS-2's backs up against the wall.
Bet 3 IS-2, but that won't save Nagano from the loss.
Oh, what a Panzerwerf preemptively on the path of the shock troopers. Isildur ending this series in style, heading to the grand final versus the winner of Kimbo and Ashablar in the semi-final. Well played to Nagano for really making a game of it in this game 3.
Yeah. GG, I'm really surprised that he kept the game going for so long. He really tried, but you know, Isildur is just a monster.
He certainly is. Guys, get ready for DevM versus AE in a 10-minute Classic Rules chess event coming to your screen in about 10 minutes' time. Thank you.
You don't want to miss it.
All right, and guys, we're going to play chess now like esteemed gentlemen. Devon, please show me your screen.
I am.
It'll take a second to kick in. I'm sure it will. Copy.
Maybe I'll turn it off and on again. Always works.
Oh, beautiful idea. Yes, indeed. Looking forward to it.
Working now?
Not quite. Oh, there we go. It's working. There we go. Perfect. Okay, Devon. So the guys can go and watch the big final game in a second. We'll get through this chess game in 10 minutes per side. 10 plus 2. Okay. Let me send you that in. Oh, I don't want to show. I'm whispering
I don't think
you the
anyone will
link.
take the link before I do, so that's not
let
matter.
me let me just be thingy. I'll send it you in our chat. Hang on. There we go. It's in our chat. Perfect. And then I'll go back to that scene. Perfect. There we go. I'm ready. I'm ready for you, big lad. Okay, so
Yep.
I'm white. I get myself all frosty, all mentally prepared. You ready?
Yep,
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Are you positive?
Positive.
Well, you're about to get a whole lot more negative. Let's go.
Okay, okay. That's a good move. I like that.
Thanks, Devon. Your moves are nice as well.
Thank you very much. Hmm. Yeah, I guess I'll just keep developing like normal. Okay, let's arrest that bishop. Okay, I'll be happy with this trade, also damaging the pawn structure. Mm. Do have good control of that square. Hmm. Okay, let's go like this. Do I want a queen trade? Yeah.
Heart's going through my chest.
Not sure if I want to give you the open file. Okay, I think I can do this. Maintain queens on the board.
I know what your plan was there. You want the pawn on h2 eventually when you move your queen to h6 in the
Well, I
second
couldn't
after my
because your
pawn
knight
attacks it.
was
No.
there, but yeah.
Yeah. True. How much longer for though? Anyway, let me concentrate. That's tempting. It's really tempting. Bishop, go down there.
Are you thinking a...
Yes, of course I am. Thanks for interrupting me. Trade over here. Get that knight out of the way. Pull him back to here.
Okay. I don't see any immediate threat unless I'm super dumb. Just going to line up the bishop. See, I think that was your first blunder. You have just given me this move.
Oh. That wasn't good.
That wasn't good.
That's checkmate. Fuck. I
My
missed that.
bishop is eyeing that king.
One mistake. Fuck.